morning, everybody. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. He's Boy Green. I'm the Manchild. Welcome aboard. It is our live Wednesday show. And as you start to gather in the room, and I see some of you coming in as we speak, get ready for something new. Boy Green, we're going to introduce, we've been talking about this for a little while, kind of quietly behind the scenes, dare I say. But we have been slowly but surely collecting things for what we call in the business a show open. A show open is kind of like, hey, this is when the show starts, like the TV show Friends, has that song, I'll be there for you.
Oh, yeah, it's catchy. Yeah.
Kind of a video that goes along with it. So dare I say, we have put some very smart people on the case and have been dabbling with some things. As you know, when we were down at the tailgate for the Jets and the Cowboys a few weeks ago, we asked some of the participants in the tailgate, would they mind joining us in a couple of videos that we were hoping we could use for the show open? Well, I am pleased to say that the videos that we shot, at least pieces of them, edited pieces of them, did indeed make our show open. So this morning, you might say, we make history. I mean, the Bud and the Manchild program got a theme song written for it, and we used that theme song for over 16 years. You and I, when we got together, talked about a theme song, but never got it done. But now we moved into the digital world. I reacquainted myself with my old band buddies, including Nicky Lamangino, who was our lead guitarist in the rock and roll band Northern Lights. And if you watch our open very carefully, Nick and I will appear somewhere in the open. So if you don't catch it the first time, don't worry. We'll be playing it throughout the shows to come. It's our new show open, so you'll be sick of it in about 3 or 4 weeks. All right. But it's a very cool animated show open that also has some human video in it as well. And Nick Lamangino, my old lead guitar player from the rock and roll band Northern Lights that I played in for many years, is the guitar player and the singer on the song that accompanies our open. So we have, Boy Green, both a theme song to go with a video open, and we are about to unveil it. Are you ready, sir?
Let's go.
All right. Am I going to do it, or are you going to do it?
You, please.
All right. I always love pushing the buttons,
cut the ribbon.
Radio station. All right. So, folks, without further ado, and Dalton Wasserman coming along in just a moment, for Dalton and for all of you in the room, welcome for the first time to the Manchild Show with Boy Green Open. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause when it goes to sport, it's always coming to. If Boy Green is always on the scene, it was gonna always bring to life. So get ready.
And there you go, the unveiling of our show open, all 30 glorious seconds of it. BG, what do you think, my friend?
Oh, man. Excellent. It's great to have an identity. We actually talked about that in our Syracuse, North Carolina preview with Jones Angel. North Carolina's been trying to find their identity with Bill Belichick. So it was great to talk to the play-by-play voice of the Tar Heels and talk about that process. And finally, Lerch, 3 months in, I think we found our identity, baby, and what the show's going to be all about moving forward.
Let's hope so. We got a little Metropolis in there. Did you see us running with the Bulls? That was kind of
very
cool.
Nice.
Your eyes are very darty. I mean, I don't know what's going on with your eyes there. All right, well, let's bring in our guy that we talk to every single Wednesday. It's from Pro Football Focus, and he's our NFL insider. Let's get his impressions on the show open. It's the one, the only, Dalton Wasserman. What's up, Dalton? How are you?
Good, guys. That was a fantastic open. Honestly, anytime you get to add an intro to the show, and really even for you guys, it'll just get the adrenaline going every single time you go on the show, right? I mean, that's kind of how it is with our opening theme music on our shows. But, man, you guys one-upped it right there. I might have to look into somebody writing a song for our shows over here at PFF because that was outstanding.
Yeah, that was really cool. My buddy Nicky Lamangino, who was our lead guitarist many years ago in a rock and roll band with me, he still plays in bands. He's still, playing rock and roll music and out in the public, playing shows and getting paid. I put down my bass guitar many, many years ago, Dalton. But Nick and I kind of have gotten reacquainted. He lives down in New York City where my family lives, and we kind of lost touch a little bit. We were, in and out of touch, but I started to make a real effort to kind of, cement my longtime friendship with him. And then, obviously we're talking about leaving radio and moving into the digital world. And he didn't say anything to me, but he just got inspired. And then one day he just texts me, goes, "Hey, I got something for you. Take a listen." And I go in and I listen to it, and I'm like, what the heck's he doing? He's working on like a theme song for the show. So it was like in the early stages, and he was like, I got the beat, and here's the thing. What do you think? What kind of lyrics are you looking for? And then I just started giving him some ideas. And next thing you know, a week later, I had a finished product in my hand. I was like, wow, cool. Looks like we got a theme song. So I sent it off to Paul, and he dug it. And I said, I think we're going to obviously build an opener around the theme song. So pretty cool stuff. It's fun.
No, yeah, that's fantastic. Tell you what, it's great to have talented friends, isn't it? I mean, you got
really nice. Yes, it is.
With people of all sorts of different talents. Sometimes those are the things that can just sometimes happen.
Yeah, good to have good friends, friends that do different things. PG, you're muted. Go ahead, unmute yourself, and then we'll hear what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, no. The thing I was going to say is, which is why we have Dalton Wasserman. He's as talented as they come, covering all things NFL. So, Dalton, without further ado, let's dive into the deep end of the pool here, baby. And again, new era, new everything going on here. Let's start off this. Speaking of new, what about a new era for the New Orleans Saints? We're finally going to see Tyler Shough. We did see him a little bit last week in a relief effort, replacing Spencer Rattler there. But this is a quarterback a lot of people thought could go in the first round. And Dalton, you cover both NFL and college football, doing both shows for Pro Football Focus. So you could tell our fans, if they don't know about Tyler Shough's very unique history through college football to even get to this point. And now he's going to get a shot as QB1 for the Saints moving forward.
Yeah, really a long road for Shough, obviously. He started out at Oregon. He was actually in college football for so long that back in the day, he was Justin Herbert's backup at Oregon, a very highly rated recruit. Went to Texas Tech, played well there, but had some injuries and things that he was working through, a lot of season-ending injuries and things of that nature, and then really exploded in his final season when he transferred to Louisville under Jeff Brom, who's one of the best quarterback coaches and head coaches, I should say, in college football. So what you get is a classically built guy with a lot of arm talent, can throw from different arm angles. I don't think he's quite as mobile as Spencer Rattler is, but if you give this guy a clean pocket, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country last year at Louisville when he was protected. That's going to be the big thing for the Saints. If they can get the run game going a little bit and then just give him more clean pockets, obviously, than they're accustomed to giving, because they've had struggles on their offensive line. They got young kids. They've had some injuries lately there too. But if he's protected, he can make all the throws on the field for sure.
Well, it's been a crazy active week in the NFL, and I think there's more to come. But let's talk about some of the trades that have been made. Let's start with the New England Patriots getting busy trying to pick up some draft picks for guys that I guess have turned into backups that at some points in their career were starters. Let's talk about the trades that the Patriots made.
Yeah, when you look at Kyle Duggar, and he had kind of been filtered out of the rotation since the preseason there at safety for New England, going to Pittsburgh now, I think it's the Steelers really trying to fill a hole in the secondary after Deshaun Elliott suffered a season-ending injury, right? Because they got thinner at safety this offseason. They traded for Jalen Ramsey to improve themselves at cornerback, but that implied also giving away Minkah Fitzpatrick to Miami. You've got Juan Thornhill back there, but they needed that box safety to replace Elliott, who's a really good run defender. They're hoping Kyle Duggar can do that. And then the other trade to San Francisco with Keon White. Look, the 49ers are looking for any reinforcements they can on that defensive line. It's a unit that's very young and has really struggled. And White is a player who's played well in the past. He's got a lot of talent, but it's a bit inconsistent. Robert Saleh over there is looking for any pass rush help he can get, because with Bryce Huff out last week against Houston, they had no pass rush on C.J. Stroud, and that's really a big reason they lost that game.
Yeah, there could be a case made. Is there more to come? It's sort of an interesting strategy for New England because, you would think a team that's winning isn't looking to shed some of these people on the bottom of the roster for late round pick swapping. Normally they're adding pieces to the puzzle to move forward here. So are the Patriots going to keep heading in this direction, or is there another direction they could head and go, wait a second, we're first place in the AFC East. Let's get aggressive and try to see if we can add something, whether it's for a young quarterback, Drake May, or even on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, you do wonder if they could even add depth at those same positions that they gave away and just find other players that fit them better. I think especially in the secondary, I think that's where New England has struggled the most. If they find a little more help on the outside at corner, maybe a little more depth there, or even at safety where Kyle Duggar is now departed. And then on the offensive side, there have been some rumors I've heard that they're looking for maybe a little bit more running back depth. They've gotten Ramondre Stevenson going Travion Henderson has been up and down this year, and maybe just get one more veteran back in there to fill out the room because Antonio Gibson's out for the year. But I could see them turning around and buying. Honestly, I think these moves were more about just shedding these veteran players, shedding some money, and guys who weren't playing very much because there was other guys on the roster who have just outperformed them this year.
Dalton, let me ask you about this one. Obviously, it happened over the weekend, the blow to the Giants, losing Cam Skattebo. Skattebo and Dart have injected an energy into this Giants team. It has people interested in watching the Giants again and seeing how the rest of the season is going to play out. Now they lose Skattebo. Give me your thoughts about what the impact of losing him might do or not do to the Giants through the rest of the season.
You mentioned it. The energy of those two guys was really leading the charge here with the Giants playing better of late. And I think just in a production sense, Skattebo was their best running back. I mean, he proved that over the early weeks of the season, and he kept them on schedule in an offense missing Malik Neighbors. It was so important for this team to stay on schedule, right? Get those 5 yards on first down. Get yourself, in third and short situations where you can continue to have that two-way go running the football. And Jackson Dart obviously adds to that too with the option threat and certain things that he can do on the ground as well, and he's thrown the football relatively well, especially in these two games against the Eagles, considering the lack of weapons they have. And Skattebo's a good receiver too. It's going to hurt him in the passing game. So they need Tyrone Tracy. They need Devin Singletary to step up, obviously without Skattebo. But that's really what I'm looking for, is those first down plays where they were really creating a lot of production and putting themselves in good situations. Can they continue to stay on schedule with him out?
Dalton, one of my favorite parts of doing this show live is I can prepare all the questions and topics I want to, and then all of a sudden something new can enter the octagon. Breaking news in the National Football League. The Detroit Lions have extended Aiden Hutchinson on what is being described as a, quote, mega extension. According to NFL insider Ian Rappaport, it's a 4-year extension. We're waiting for the money to come in. His agent, Mike McCartney, just posted that update on social media. The Lions keeping one of their own. I know a lot of fans on the outside of Detroit are like, ooh, maybe they're not going to get this deal done. Maybe he could be one of those mega free agents that gets out there. Ain't happening. He's staying in Detroit.
No, that's outstanding news. I mean, you look at the way Hutchinson has recovered from last year's injury, and before the injury, he was going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He was having what was turning out to be possibly an all-time type season, and he's been just as good this year coming back. And that was a big-time injury he was coming back from, right? The leg fracture, and you go, okay, is this guy going to get back to full speed? And the Lions pass rush, the production dipped so dramatically last year through the later parts of the regular season and in the postseason that you go, man, this guy's really the key to their whole defense, and he is. He's, for us, he's tied for the second best pass rush grade in the league behind Micah Parsons. I believe he's leading the league with, I want to say it's 48 pressures through their first 8 games. I mean, he's just outstanding. He's one of the best defensive players in football. He's going to be a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and I'm just so impressed with the way he's come back from this injury and continued to be his dominant self that he's been now for the last 3 years.
All right, Lerch, just real quick. We'll check. I'm just to say we will check on this later, folks. As soon as we have the updated numbers and whether the market got reset or what happened to the pass rusher market, I keep an eye on social media and we'll see if we could get Dalton's reaction to whatever those numbers are before our interview's finished. Go ahead, Lerch.
All right, talking with Dalton Wasserman, PFF, our NFL insider. Today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Crest Cadillac. We'll hear a little bit more about our friends from Crest in just a few minutes. Let's talk about the Jets. Number one, Dalton, let us all give them a golf clap or even stand and give them a standing ovation. They won themselves a football game. Take a foul, Boy Green. Very good. Also, the Jets noise out off of the trade rumors about Breece Hall. The Jets seem to be pushing back on that, and it's sounding more and more every day like Breece Hall is not going anywhere. So let's talk about that development. First, the win, and then the Jets making a decision perhaps at some point to pay Breece Hall, because if you don't trade him, you better pay him. I mean, you can't do one and not the other, right?
I mean, it would be tough to just let him walk for nothing, and he's having a pretty good year considering the situation and the fact that the Jets on most days have had a hard time throwing the football, so teams are stacking the box. But look, I was at this game in Cincinnati up here on Sunday, and look, Hall looked really good. Justin Fields looked solid. He looked like he was coming out to play with a vengeance, and I just think that team, they were so sick of all the noise, right? The Justin Fields talking about the outside noise, everybody talking about the Jets as the last team without a win, and when Tanner Engstrand really found a groove of how to beat this Bengals defense. He did not let off the gas. You talk about a team that scored, I believe it was 26 points on their last 4 drives. I mean, that's just outstanding stuff, right? They did it on the ground. Isaiah Davis was really good. Mason Taylor made big plays. Guys like Tyler Johnson stepping up. So it really was. It was a gritty win. That's something Aaron Glenn talked about. We've seen them play with grit in several other games and just lost close, right? The Pittsburgh game, the Tampa Bay game. It's just they had to not beat themselves, right? And the defense still needs a little bit of work. And Joe Flacco, I thought, played really well too. But no, it was good for Aaron Glenn to get that first one out of the way and take that deep breath. And especially going in here into the bye week, you wouldn't want to be sitting on a loss like that if that were to be the result. But it's better to go into that with a win and then figure things out with the trade deadline from there.
Dalton, a couple of questions here. Number one, is that the first Jets game you've attended this year?
This year, yeah.
So you're 1-0 when you go to Jet games.
It's that simple. Trust me, all the Bengals fans that surround me, they all tell me it's my fault. I've heard it 100 times in the last 3 days that it's all my fault that the Bengals lost this game, and I just go, well, sure, maybe, why not?
So I'm not sure what the Pro Football Focus budget looks like for this year, but if they could get you at every Jets game moving forward, that's just a lovely suggestion I would like to make, Dalton Wasserman.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Clearly, sometimes small samples being what they are, but clearly there's something there. There's obviously something because you don't just go scoring. The Jets just don't go around scoring 39 points all the time, right? Listen, maybe, just maybe, I'm not trying to give anything away. Maybe I was the one calling the plays. Who knows? Something. You never know the back channels you can get with these things.
Listen, any karma is good karma, when you haven't won a game. So now they got a game, so they'll take whatever they can get to try and get a second one and a third one. Well, the Jets are on a bye, so they'll get, dare I say, to bask and drink some champagne this week before they get back to losing, probably, in all honesty. All right, today's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Crest Cadillac. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends from Crest.
Cadillac certified pre-owned vehicles, exclusively available in Central New York at your participating Cadillac dealer, Crest Cadillac. Each one must meet high standards and receives a 172-point inspection, along with a 1-year unlimited mile warranty after the original warranty expires. Come into Crest Cadillac in Syracuse today for exceptional offers on Cadillac certified pre-owned models. CrestCadillac.com.
All right, we are back talking with PFF's Dalton Wasserman. Dalton, let's talk about some other potential people out there on the trade market. I thought maybe Kirk Cousins getting a chance to show his wares a little bit might attract some people, but I don't know. It hasn't been all that good in what we've seen of Kirk Cousins since Penix got nicked up. I would assume that Penix is going to be back this week. So let's talk about, is Cousins appetizing out there to anyone? Is there anyone that needs a quarterback like Kirk Cousins that, by the way, Cousins would like to go play for, because I believe he's got the no trade or the last right of refusal here in his contract. Let's talk about it.
I don't think so. I mean, I understand his willingness to want to go somewhere and start, but what he showed against Miami this past week wasn't particularly encouraging. And I just think the problem is he's an older guy. He obviously went through the Achilles injuries, but he looks like a guy who physically just doesn't have what he used to have in his arm, right? And we already know he's not very mobile, especially since he tore his Achilles. But when I watched that game, that loss to the Dolphins for them, the Dolphins just didn't respect him and any ability to throw downfield. And that was a bigger problem last year when he was starting that extended. He started the first 14 games for him. And teams just right now, they do not respect Kirk Cousins' arm. So everything is stacked in the box against the run. Everything is press man on the outside. They are daring Kirk Cousins to throw it over their heads, and he's just not going to do it. That lack of physical ability to work downfield would be something that I think discourages a lot of teams from trading for him.
Patriots also stayed. Oh, go ahead, Boy Green. I'm sorry.
No, the other thing is, let me ask you a two-parter here. Like, first off, so I'm waiting to hear this Hudson news because I want to hear on the money. Why wouldn't the money be immediately available? Does that say something? That the financial terms are not immediately available in this extension? Could that say anything, or is that just a random coincidence?
I think it's just a matter. As far as like them trading for somebody else, or just not knowing the numbers?
Yeah. Let me clarify on the Lions bid, the Detroit Lions bid. Like, so mega extension announced. We're like, woo, cool. And I'm keeping an eye on social media because I'd love your reaction to whatever the numbers are. We just hear mega extension for your deal. I'm saying, is there some? I'm not conspiracy theory, aluminum foil on the head guy, but the fact that they're not immediately releasing the numbers, don't agents love flexing that? Yeah, look at all the total money we gave our guy, and the fact that they're not doing that, that's sort of weird. Does that mean anything or Not really. That's just weird.
No, I don't think so. I think there's just sometimes a delay when you talk about all the deals with guaranteed money and incentives and bonuses and everything like that. I think it just takes like a little bit more time for all the news to leak out of there. I don't think the Lions are hiding anything from us because it's going to come out eventually.
Yeah, here's a good little comment, and I agree with this. We have a lot of Jet fans in our chat, and you're all welcome aboard, by the way. Kill Your Ego says, I hope Moogie's talking about Darren Moogie and AG gets someone because that Brownlee pickup, we hit the lottery, man. And that turned, that was a very small kind of almost unmentioned thing, and that has really actually helped solidify that Jet secondary a little bit. Let's talk about that. Fits with teams, and how sometimes you get a guy, and he may not be a star, but he has the qualities, I think, that Jet defense needed, and he's given them a little bit of a spark.
Yeah, he's a talented player. I liked him in college when he was at Florida State and Louisville. And you know what he brings is just an attitude, right? And I think that's what Aaron Glenn is looking for, just that aggressive attitude. He's a really good tackler. He can play inside or outside. He's an excellent run defender, which I think helps a lot for a Jets team that sometimes is looking for more of those players. And then you just talk about a guy who's about it every single snap. Even if he makes an error or something, they always talk about cornerbacks needing to have those short memories and move on to the next play. Jarvis Brownlee does have that. I do like his talent. I love the attitude that he brings to the football field. I was surprised that Tennessee traded him because you go, okay, this guy might be, if he's not a foundational type cornerstone superstar type player, this is the type of guy you want on your football team, at least as depth. I think there could be some sort of future here with the Jets. Brownlee's a good football player, and I just love his aggressiveness.
And let me throw another comment up here on the board. This is Jamie, the FedEx guy, one of our regulars, and I agree with him on this. I don't understand what the Panthers have been doing the last couple of weeks. I understand that they paid Chuba Hubbard, but when you have Rico Dowdle playing out of his mind like he had never played before, and then you say, oh, let's go to a two-tandem situation here, and Dowdle won't even get the bulk of the carries. We're going to go back to the guy that we paid. That just doesn't make any sense to winning or losing, and it hasn't made any sense to the Panthers, and it's made their whole backfield situation muddy, and now apparently they're going to go back to Dowdle after 2 weeks being in a conundrum. So let's talk about what's going on in Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hubbard was hurt, and obviously you don't want, at that position at least, you don't want a guy completely losing his job to injury, and they paid him, and he was really good the last couple of years for them, right? So I think he deserved, obviously, that chance to get the reps back, but Dowdle had been the hot hand, the raging hot hand, behind an offensive line that very quietly has been blocking very well all season. So I do think, look, I think there's room for both of those guys, but in a backfield like that where you're not talking about a star back like Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley, right, when you're talking about Chuba Hubbard, he's a good player, but he's not on that level where you go, you know what, ride the hot hand. If Dowdle's feeling like he's in a rhythm and he really likes the way this offensive line is blocking for him, leave him in there and just ride that train. I mean, the Cowboys did the same thing last year where early on it was Zeke Elliott and Dowdle, and then they just handed the backfield to Dowdle, and he went on to have the 1,000-yard season, right? So I think you're right that they should ride the hot hand, but that offensive line's been a big piece of that too, and I think Hubbard can still have success in some sort of role there.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, the Giants did that with Scatterbo, and look at what it turned into. I mean, someone pops. You got to let them go until they're not popping anymore. I thought that was just awful by Carolina. I understand you're trying to show Hubbard respect, and you've paid him, but he's not going anywhere. Look, his respect is the paycheck he gets every week. The other guy's getting paid peanuts. Let him go out there and run himself into the ground if he has to, but you get the most out of your backs. Don't understand that Carolina philosophy at all. Go ahead, BG.
Yeah, I was going to jump in just looking ahead to week 9 here in the NFL. Are we in for another classic? We have the Buffalo Bills. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. It's in that America's Game of the Week window and that, 4 o'clock time slot. Are we in for another classic? Yes, of course.
I mean, you're always in for a classic with these two, right? I mean, you just kind of watch in awe sometimes, like it used to be with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. When you get to see Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, you sit down and watch it, right? I mean, it's kind of that thing there. But no, I think you have a fun contrast in styles, and I think you do have a game with two defenses that are both at times good and at times have their flaws, and obviously two of the best, maybe the two best quarterbacks in football. You're going to see a high-scoring game. I think the Bills, their back seven on defense has really been struggling. Ed Oliver, it sounds like he's out for an extended period of time now. That's going to be an issue, and Mahomes is raging hot with all of his targets back. And the Bills, they're going to want to run the football. I think they're going to want to line up those tight ends. They're going to want to hand the ball to James Cook and control the pace of the game. And the Chiefs' defensive line against the run has not been great. So I think you've got two teams that can really pick at an opposing defense's weakness, and you could see a high-scoring game between these two again.
And for anybody that watched the Chiefs this past weekend, and that first half was ugly, Dalton. I mean, they did not look good. I was like, oh, my goodness, so much for the Chiefs are clicking. And then the second half happens, and those adjustments, I think that's one of the beauties of Andy Reid and his coaching staff is they're just never out of anything. They make great adjustments, and then those adjustments always seem to work.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the first half, even beyond the schematic adjustments, they just made a handful of mistakes, right? Travis Kelce drops the ball where he was open, and it turns into an interception, right? There was the other Mahomes interception, with Lattimore blanketing. I forget who the receiver was, but, just a bad throw on Mahomes' part there. So there's been times this year where they just don't finish drives as well, or they a drive ends in a mistake like that. But when this Chiefs team gets hot with they got 8, 9, 10 guys they can reliably throw the football to. When they get hot, they're extremely hard to stop. Sometimes they just got to wait for it, and unless you're the Indianapolis Colts, you don't always play your best football on every single drive, this year or anytime really.
And the return of Lamar Jackson. And Lamar, bold words this week, saying every game is do or die for the rest of the way for the Ravens. So technically they're in the playoffs with this elimination game style with the hole that they've dug themselves in. How quickly will we see the same Lamar Jackson we saw before? Because, time away, injuries, all that sort of thing, plus the schedule. I mean, there's a lot of things up in the air here for Baltimore. Can they turn it around?
I think they can. I mean, it's like Lamar said. I mean, do or die. I look at them being 2-5 right now, and I figure let's just say to win that division, even though that's been kind of a rough division when it comes to winning, let's just say it takes 10 wins. You got to win 8 of your last 10 games, right? So you're going to need MVP caliber Lamar Jackson. They're making some tweaks on the defense. They're kind of using Kyle Hamilton now as a tweener linebacker sort of thing here to help their run defense. Offensively, it's good to see the last couple of weeks have gotten Derrick Henry back going after a cold spell. So if Lamar comes back and he's the centerpiece he usually is, and with their schedule, they can win 8 of these last 10. But I think that's what it's going to take to really guarantee themselves a playoff spot or winning that division.
Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. We're talking with Dalton Wasserman, PFF. Don't forget to pop that subscribe button. Get in as one of our first 500 subscribers. You can win yourself a $400 golf club. Let me go back over to the comments here. Hep says the following: so many injuries around the league. When is the NFL expanding the roster? Is there any thought out there about the NFL eventually expanding its roster?
I mean, I never really understood the point of having a 53-man roster, but you have 7 guys that can't play. 46 guys. Look, I coached in even high school back in the day. 46 guys on a roster is not very many, and you lose 3 or 4 of those guys, and you're really already feeling pretty thin there. So I don't really, to me, I've never really understood why the whole 53 isn't just available, especially when you talk about teams with the offensive line injuries and the 49ers and all the things that they're going through. And sometimes, you just get these spells. Why do we need to go, well, this third quarterback can't play unless the first 2 get hurt. We have this emergency thing, break glass in case of emergency quarterback. I go, just make him active. Make those last 7 guys active. That part never made sense to me, is at least go to the 53 and go, okay, you can use all 53 instead of having 7 guys in street clothes that are on the active roster. I never really got that.
Yeah, that part, even to me, is sort of confusing. I'm not sure when that will ever change, but perhaps when they inevitably get to that 18 game schedule, which sort of seems like that's coming to the future. I think 2 points of conversation: a second bye week to try to sort of alleviate some of that pressure. And to your point, Dalton, maybe expanding those rosters both for practice squad and the active roster. Maybe those things are coming. How far are we away from that 18 game schedule, do you think?
Probably not very far with as much as Roger Goodell and the NFL have talked about the structure of the schedule. 18 games, possibly 2 bye weeks, which would make for a 19 or 20 game regular season probably, and then pushing the Super Bowl back to line up with President's Day, which would give everybody the Monday off that they've been asking for around the Super Bowl anyway, right? So it seems like they have the structure in place, and they would just need all of the votes to get it done. And then if it was me, if they're going to that, I would assume they're cutting down on the preseason once again, down from 3 games. I wonder if they would even just go to the one rivalry game for the preseason, right? Jets, Giants. Over here, it's Colts, Bengals every year. Eagles, Steelers, I think, is another, if you would just go to that. And then the only concern I would have then is, well, you think the early season football looks a little ugly now the first 3 or 4 weeks. It would probably look very ugly if you cut down the preseason and you're talking about this long haul of a season and only talking about more injuries at that point early in the year.
All right,
All
we
right,
got
the money is in. So before we get you out of here, let's talk about the Aiden Hutchinson deal. Boy Green, go ahead, reveal it.
Oh my good Lord. Yeah, there's a lot of money here. So it is a 4-year, $180 million extension with $141 million in guaranteed money. So good Lord have mercy. That is a lot of moolah there, which would be, for those that are deficient in math, it's a 45 mil per year new deal on an extension for Aiden. So we had Micah, we've had Myles Garrett, we've had TJ Watt, we've had a lot of resetting in the market this offseason. It doesn't quite do, I'll have to get the numbers for Micah again, but I don't think it topped Micah here, Dalton.
Right. Parsons, I believe, was 47 a year. It's close.
Yes.
And Parsons, the Packers really went out of their way to make that happen. No, I mean, honestly, I think it's fair. I think Hutchinson is that caliber of player, and that's what you have to pay these primetime pass rushers. Now, the great teams in this league have at least one spectacular pass rusher like that, if not two of them, right? There's some teams who have two. I think about the Houston Texans as one of those teams. With Will Anderson's going to be in this range too when he's up for an extension and getting that as well. But no, I think it's completely fair. You talk about the guarantee there. You get basically 3 years of that is guaranteed. And as young as Hutchinson is, and that injury last year, the way he's gotten over it, that's probably all they were waiting for, is just to see how good he would look in the early part of the season coming off of last year's injury. But the way he looks right now, I think that's completely fair. He's one of the best players at any position in football, and that's well-deserved big time.
And I'll tell you what, Dalton, I mean, probably less than 10 years ago, we had essentially no guaranteed contracts in the NFL. And now everyone that is a star in the NFL is getting major guaranteed money. And we saw, of course, something we thought we'd never see, the Deshaun Watson deal, where basically the entire contract was guaranteed. Man, baseball's had guaranteed contracts forever. I never understood why football didn't have any semblance of it, even partial. I understand the injury risk in football makes it certainly more risky for owners and franchises to guarantee contracts, but come on, I knew they're going to have to buck up at some point, and obviously that the day of reckoning has come, and we are seeing all the superstars. Lately, it's these defensive ends. The quarterbacks have had their way for a long time, not only getting mega contracts, but getting guaranteed or mostly guaranteed contracts. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, I think at a certain part, it's just smart for it's smart for the teams too, right? If you know Aiden Hutchinson's 25 or 26 years old, right? If you know for a fact you're getting this level of production for 4 years because Hutchinson's shown us nothing different, then you worry about the next contract when he's 30 and you hand him this money, because if he hits the open market, somebody's going to give it to him and he's going to change somebody's franchise. You can't let that guy out the door. It's really the opposite end of what you talk about with the Cowboys trading away Parsons, is you let that guy out the door and now you have the worst defense in football. Look what happened here. So I think that's the danger of letting those just special. There's a difference between, good players and just special elite game-changing talents. Hutchinson is in that category and deserves every dollar of it.
All right. Fair enough. Dalton Wasserman, always good visiting with you. A lot of news this week, maybe some more next week with the trade deadline looming. Well, take it easy, buddy. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football.
For sure. See you guys next week.
All right. There he is. Dalton Wasserman giving us some love on all things NFL. Oh, and by the way, folks, if you are coming in a little late to the room, which is perfectly understandable, welcome aboard. First of all, you did miss the debut of our show open. We have a brand new show open. We've been working on it for weeks, and it actually includes a theme song written by my old guitar player, Nicky Lamangino, from the band Northern Lights back in the day that I once played in with him. And Nick put together a theme song for us as well. So if you missed it off the top of the show, we will play it on our way out of the show today. So hang around until the end of the show, and we'll play our show open as a show close today, just so that you can get a peek at it. It includes cool animation, Boy Green and I running with the Bulls, so you'll understand what that's all about, and much, much more. And ends with a lovely high five. So all of that coming your way at the end of the show today. So if you missed the show open at the start of the show, we'll play it one more time since it is debut day here for our show open. All right, BG, a lot to chew on there from Dalton Wasserman. How excited are you personally that it seems that the Jets are lining up not to ship Breece Hall out, which I would assume, Boy Green, means that they're going to sit down at the table and maybe try to get him signed to an extension. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I talked about it on Boy Green Daily this morning. We had 1,100 people in the room that were all excited about that update that came out this morning from ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano. And it's the Jets have had basically a change of stance in their trade talks. According to Dan, he thought it was a for sure thing was going to happen. They were going to trade Breece Hall, and whoever the highest bidder was, like regardless of whatever the Jets price was, whoever in the market, let's say 6 teams reached out. If the highest one was a 4th-round pick, all right, I guess you're getting him. There are other players on the Jets roster that the Jets have a price in their head. If that's not met, they're not just going to trade him to whatever the highest offer is. So Dan said there's been a shift. Instead of just giving him to the highest bidder, instead the Jets are like, man, we're leery of giving him to another team, and he goes crazy. We look like idiots, and he's one of our best players on the offense, certainly, and maybe on the team overall. So I think this is great news for the Jets. Jet fans out there in the universe, Breece Hall had 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter, 2 rushing, 1 passing. He's a dynamic athlete, and he's only 24. That's like incredible. He's in the final year of his deal. He came into the league at only 20 years of age. So the Jets need to be adding and keeping good players, not just getting rid of them. And again, the value, according to insiders across the league, is a 5th-round pick. Go pound sand. I'm not getting a 5th-round pick on Breece Hall. We invested a 2nd-round pick in him, and he looks great. So, to me, I hope that the Jets look to re-sign him. They can always use the franchise tag in their back pocket. That projected total is around $14 million, which is a little rich. That'd be the 4th highest-paid running back in football. So that's more than you'd want to pay. But maybe they can use that as a ploy to add more time to negotiate during the offseason. So I hope the Jets keep Breece. He was terrific. He's a big reason why. Obviously, the Jets won their first game over the weekend, and the Jets should be getting reinforcements after the bye. Garrett Wilson should be back and other players on the team, so maybe the Jets could go on a little mini run here. But trading him, I'm sure other teams would love to have him. Wouldn't the Chiefs, with Isaiah Pacheco getting injured, would love to plug and play Breece Hall, and Chief fans and NFL fans may get super excited. But for Jet fans, they should be, again, rooting for to keep a guy like Breece. So to me, it's a very exciting development.
Another interesting development on the Jets in getting that first win was we all know that it was likely going to be Tyrod Taylor starting that game, even though it wasn't officially announced. And then Tyrod, in such Tyrod-ish fashion, has some kind of injury that doesn't allow him to get in the practice reps and to do the things he needs to do. So the Jets have no choice but to go back to Justin Fields, and then Fields goes out and gets them their first win and plays relatively decent football. So Fields again this week, next week, I should say. They've got to buy. They've got the extra time for Tyrod if you need it. Or do you stick with Fields coming off the win? Where do you stand on this? Forget about where Aaron Glenn stands. Where do you stand on Fields versus Tyrod versus any other options the Jets might have at this point?
Yeah, I'll answer myself in a second. Just for everyone to know, AG was asked this very question. So, man, Justin Fields played pretty well. He's clearly your guy coming out of the bye, right? He's like, well, I've got time to make that decision. So he left it open, but I think he's just playing games. I think if you're a Jets fan, come on. You have to keep riding Justin Fields, ride the hot hand. Now, the previous 2 weeks, not including this Bengals game, against Carolina, against Denver, Justin Fields looked awful. And they had no other choice. We got to go away from this guy. Tyrod Taylor, undrafted free agent Brady Cook, somebody's going to step in. And Justin, for, the gods, stepping in here so he could get back on the field. I thought for sure Tyrod was going to start that game if he was healthy. He does not, of course, because of health, and Justin gets the opportunity. I think that was either the best or second best game that Justin Fields played all year. He looked terrific against the Bengals. The Bengals defense stinks, so let's see what he can do coming out of the bye. The Browns defense is much better than the Bengals, and that's who they play in Week 10 coming off the bye. But I think you have to ride Justin Fields. Aaron Glenn would be nuts to go to Tyrod after that Justin Fields performance. Now, if you're AG, play the game. If Justin Fields looks bad coming out of the bye, all right, Tyrod Taylor time. Tyrod Taylor looks bad, all right, Brady Cook time. At this point, it's in evaluation mode. The Jets are 1-7. It's incredibly unlikely that they'd be the first team in NFL history to start 1-7 and then come back to make the playoffs. So that seems unlikely. So with that being the case, the Jets just got to play it out. Whichever quarterback gives them the best shot, that's who you ride with.
All right, one of the things I want to do from time to time, Boy Green, we'll do it every week or two, is check up on our fantasy football leagues and the standings and how things are going, because there are developments, and of course there's always trades. We talk about our trades openly with Joe Bartle during our live fantasy football segment every Friday at 10:30, so you don't want to miss that. Joe Bartle from RotoWire, who actually plays in our league, comes all the way from Madison, Wisconsin to attend our live draft. He's done that now 2 years in a row, so Joe is very invested in our league, even though there is no cash in this league. This is for pride and your name on the side of a trophy. Everybody wants it. And nobody wants to finish in the bottom 3 where you get eliminated. So I'll tell you what, BG, let me take 30 seconds. We'll tell everybody a little bit about our friends from Bayberry Automotive, an automotive shop that you and I will be visiting this week for various reasons. They are the integrity and everything, guys. And when we come back, we'll do fantasy football standings. We'll talk some fantasy football. You're welcome to throw fantasy football questions into the chat as well, and we can discuss those as well. Be right back after this word from our friends at Bayberry.
Integrity is a word that some people just throw around in life. But at Bayberry Automotive, integrity is everything. Integrity of their mechanics, who are all experienced and certified. Integrity in the work they perform, with nothing but 5-star reviews from satisfied customers on Google. Integrity that goes along with family, a family-run business that treats you like one of their own. Integrity in everything. Bayberry Automotive. BayberryAutomotive.com.
Located on Route 57 across from Bayberry Plaza, the premier choice for auto repair in Liverpool.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Pop that like button if you're right near it right now, if you like our video, as we talk sports with you for another 20 minutes or so. I want to get into recapping our fantasy leagues. And by the way, if you tuned in a little bit late, you missed the debut of our show open just for today and today only, as they say, one day only. We will play our open to close the show today. So if you weren't in there right at the start of the show, well, have no fear. You'll still get to see the debut of our open before we leave the airwaves today. All right, but without further ado, let's talk fantasy football, Boy Green. Pick your spot. Where do you want to start? We can start in the Quad Cities and work our way up. We can start in the champs and work our way down. It's up to you, pal. What do you want to do?
Well, I appreciate that, but as much as I, respect all the leagues because I'm in all of them, we have to start with the champs. We have to start at the top. If these Quad City folks, including myself, want to be talked about more, you gotta rise up the ranks. So sorry, boys and girls out there that are in the Quad Cities League. We'll eventually get to you, but you're at the bottom of the pile. That's just sort of how it works. Maybe Manchild will eventually dip his toes in there because there's some winning going on down there.
I'm kind of enjoying the Triple C, to be honest with you, and I like some of the folks down there, so I might have to really slum with the Quad Cities next year, Boy Green. Boy, handling all these leagues, though, I must admit, waiver wires, trades, the week in, week out. Oh, my God, it's getting a little unwieldy for me. I have never been a multiple league, more than 2-league kind of guy, and this year I'm already juggling 4. So you're asking me now to go to 5 next year. I'm not going past 5. I'll tell you right now. That's
okay. 5 is your line. Okay,
that's my max. All right, let's take a look at the Champs League. What can you tell us about the standings?
Well, I mean, the 2 guys that are on your screen right now, the best 2 teams in the league, which is good for the brand, baby. So I know Manchild hates my guts, I hate his guts, but nonetheless, the thing that we have to do is respect each other. Manchild's stairway to Evans is 7-1 in the Champs League. I'm 6-2. And I got to give a big salute. I know, Manchild, you weren't here for the Monday show. You were coming back from your travels, but it all came down to a Sunday night performance. Chris Boswell, my kicker, versus Joe Bartles, wide receiver DK Metcalf. And I called my dad before the game.
Even Steven going in. I mean, if you're even Steven and I've got Metcalf and you've got the kicker, I'm like, I'm beating your butt, man. So if I were Joe, I would have gone into that weekend battle. That was Joe Bartle, by the way, taking on Boy Green in a pivotal game, by the way. Pivotal for Bartle. You can see where Bartle is right there in 4th place at 4-4. He'd be 5-3. Boy Green would be in 5-3. Thank you. 5th place. They'd both be 5-3, and Bartle would be in that mix based on points. Would he have jumped up a little bit? Looks like
he wouldn't.
Around where it was, but still, you're level instead of being a game behind, and you don't have to worry about that point stuff. So that would have been big for Bartle, and he got off to that great start. Remember he was playing it down, knock on wood. Yeah, everything that's going to go wrong could go wrong, and some things did go wrong, and some things went incredibly right. But what a back and forth battle you had with Bartle. By the way, every week now, Yahoo Fantasy takes a matchup and calls it the matchup of the week. It's
cool. I like that they do that.
Cool. You get in a little box. I've been in the matchup of the week several times. I think am I back in it this week? I might be, but I've been in it several times. But you and Bartle were the matchup of
I didn't see that. Cool.
And I was like, oh, this is playing out just like a matchup of the week should. This is like this weekend wanting to watch the Kansas City Buffalo game, right? It's kind of the matchup of the week. Well, we have that in fantasy too. Yahoo has created that. This first time they did that this year. And so you get one that's kind of circled, and it's the matchup of the week. They expect it to be close, and you and Bartle was close. But go ahead, finish your story.
Yeah, and it's just that. So, again, I call my dad. So, again, it's even Steven. Me and Joe basically have the same amount of points going into Sunday Night Football. I have 1 player left. He has 1 player left. And I call my dad and say, hey, Pop, what are my chances here? Because obviously I want to win in all the leagues that I'm in. and he laughed when I called him and went, "Fat chance, buddy. Just take the L and move on." And I'm like, "Come on, there's not a chance." And he said no. And during the game, when you're rooting for a kicker, I just got to tell you, that's a very bizarre viewing experience of Sunday Night Football when Aaron Rodgers gets sacked, but not enough that they're completely out of field goal range, but they're like 55 yards. I'm like, "Oh, this is a field goal." And he makes it. I'm like, "Oh, sweet. 5 points. Oh, another 56-yarder. 5 more points." Like, man, very bizarre. Anywho, long story short, spoiler alert, I get 20 points from Chris Boswell. DK Metcalf gets like 15, 16 points, and I just edge him out. I win the game, go to 6-2, and life couldn't be more beautiful. So yeah, there's a highlight there.
You know what's incredibly sweet about that? Because you and I and Joe have talked every week for like 8 years now.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
On fantasy football, and we've brought it into this digital world. We do it Fridays live at 10:30. In case you want to plug in yourself, folks, you can ask Joe questions, all kinds. Yes. And Joe, everybody has their philosophy in fantasy football. And one of my nutty philosophies, take it for what it is, like it if you don't, hate it if you want, whatever. I don't have any problem with you. I hope you hate it because then you're not doing the same thing as me. I love zagging when you're zigging and zigging when you're zagging. All right. But I am a kicker fanatic. I have always believed that kickers can and will win you weeks. And so I am always drafting kickers early. If I don't get the top kicker, I might even trade for him. I've done that in the past. I just like having security at the kicker position. And if I'm going to stream kickers, then I'm trying to stream and think ahead 2 weeks, and I'm bringing 2 kickers on my roster to get the right one plugged in because I don't want him to be plucked by someone else. So I'm a little kicker nuts, you might say, but many, many times the kicker has bailed me out. And Joe is the exact opposite. He hates the fact that I draft kickers. He's constantly making fun of me. He made a point a couple of weeks ago of going, "Oh, and Aubrey isn't even the top kicker." All right. And now Aubrey has been for the last couple of weeks. So, of course, I'm firing back at Joe every week, which I'll be doing again on this Friday if you want to tune in. All right. Every week that Aubrey's at the top, I'm just going to remind him one more time who has the best kicker in the league.
And you're probably going to bring this up with Bartle that I scored the 20 points from Chris Boswell to beat him.
You bet. I mean, so I am just waiting for Friday to say, like, so what was it about kickers not mattering? Was it DK Metcalf against little old,
Chris Boswell?
Chris Boswell, and you couldn't get it done? DK couldn't get it done for you? His kicker outscored him in fantasy? How pathetic. All right, good pickup there, Boy Green.
Thank you. I drafted him on draft night.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
What a way to go. And I'll tell you what, I had a very close call this week. The Dart Sticks Mr. Wilson, you see him right there, number 9 on our board in the Champs League, was battling me. You walk into a matchup like that, and if you look at his points for the season, he has the least points in the league this season. So I feel like, you never should do this in fantasy, but you go like, "Oh, baby. All right.
Juicy.
I finally got an easy week. I should cruise to victory." Of course, that doesn't happen. Right. I go all the way to Monday Night Football, and I only have Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy, and I'm down 30. So I'm right on the edge. The projections are saying I should be a point or two, but it's like a 50-50 toss-up. I'm like, 30 points. I mean, boy, Mahomes has been solid all year, but he could just have one of those 15-point nights and they run it a little extra, or it's a low-scoring game, and I don't get that 25-point night that's going to help put me over the top with a couple of catches from Worthy, right? And sure enough, that first half, awful. Mahomes is like 3 points at the half. He has 2 picks. You lose 2 points every time there's a pick. So he's got 2 picks to go against me. One of them right off Kelsey's hands. You should have seen me in my living room. It's like throwing things. "Oh my God, catch the ball, you idiot." I'm screaming and yelling. I'm like, "I'm going to lose on this. This is how I'm going down. I'm going to lose on this." And then the second half, obviously, Mahomes blew it out. But there was a pivotal play at the end of the game, Boy Green. Oh, man, sometimes you hate penalties and sometimes you love them. Did you see the sack that Mahomes took very late in the game?
Yes. Negative yardage.
That sack brought him back like 10 yards. I had just taken the lead by like 0.5 points. That sack would have moved me back behind, but they had the roughing the passer call, and so it got negated. They got the 15 yards, and it didn't go against me, and then I ended up winning. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, that is the hair by which you live and breathe sometimes in fantasy. A singular play and a penalty can decide your week. We talked about it for years. I'll mention it one more time. I was part of that play. We call it the Hail Murray, for any of you that might remember it.
Yes.
Okay. And it was Kyler Murray to the
I got the name if you just want me to say it.
DeAndre Hopkins. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So And I think it was Jamie, the FedEx guy. He's the historian.
It
was his team. It was his team. And I was beating him. I had him. It was over. It was the last game. That it was just the last players that were playing. He had both Murray and Hopkins. And they throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game.
Against the Bills.
Against the Bills. And he gets points for both. He's got both guys on his roster, so he double dips on the points, and he ends up beating me on the last play of the game.
And like a 40-point play or something.
I mean, brutal. So I was a victim of that. So there's nothing that I haven't gone through in fantasy. And Monday night was no exception. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to lose on this sack. What is Mahomes doing? Just throw the ball away, you idiot. I'm screaming. Yeah. They're like, flag. I'm like, yes, it's got to be on them. He hit him. Don't pick up the flag. So what a way to win. Crazy stuff in the world of fantasy. So there's our fantasy football standings from the Champs League. Myself and Boy Green leading the way. I'm Stairway to Evans. He's Dr. Fields Good. Jabbers Wing Sauces, who I got this week, Boy Green. That's the featured matchup. It's 1 against 3, and it is the featured matchup. So I'm not going to have any easy sledding this week. That's for sure. He's got a very, very potent team. You can see by his points for column right there. He's just about 35, 40 points behind me. So he's been rock solid this year. So that's going to be a titanic matchup. Saquon Hurts is a Big Al's team. I saw Al in the room earlier. So Al, congrats. I know you've lost 2 in a row, but that's part of winning early. You're still right in the mix. Top 6 make the playoffs. So now just focus on making the playoffs. That's what you got to do. Sometimes luck just goes against you. Joe Bartle is right there, just Joe in 5th place. And Brian Drake, another fantasy insider, is in 6th place. So those are the top teams in our league. All right, let's jump on over to the Chumps League, my friend.
Real quick, before we do, I'll give a shout out to Jamie, the FX guy, who traded for Breece Hall at the right time, and Breece Hall explodes. And I'll also say this, he calls himself the most dangerous 2-6 team in fantasy football history, which may be the silliest thing I've ever heard. But if you look at that points for, Jamie would be all the way in the playoffs right now.
And he is Sunday Sprinters right there, so that people know who he is. Yep.
Yes. So thank you for that. So again, if Jamie starts winning some games, the points for is the number 1 tiebreaker. So he can leapfrog a lot of teams. He needs to win. Other teams need to lose. So Jamie, a big salute to you, pal. We'll see if you can turn your season around. But TBD, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, Jamie's had some bad luck. He's had good points and bad luck. Look at those points against him. 1,124 points against him.
Is that the most? That is.
That is the most. So poor Jamie has had some bad luck.
Hey, Lerch, I told you this before. I'd rather be lucky than good, baby.
Absolutely.
I'd rather be lucky than good.
Every single time, lucky than good. That's
all right. Let's go to the Chumps, and Lerch no longer at the top of the mountain. I see in the Chumps League.
Well, I wasn't at the top. Savage Joe's was the only. Well, no, you're right. I was at the top. You're right. In the Chumps League, I was. We're going to get to the Triple C in a moment. Right. In the Chumps League, right? I was in first place, but I was tied with 2 other teams, but I had them on points. But yes, I had everybody. Buy Mageddon for me, big time. Everybody was out. No Smith and Jigba. No Amon-Ra in my lineup last week. I was like throwing guys at the wall. I was like, if I win this week, it's going to be a miracle. I actually pulled one of those off in the Champs League, but I was not destined to do it against one of the best teams in the Chumps League. He did not have too many guys on bye. I had almost my whole team on bye. So it was an expected loss for me. You never like to lose in fantasy, but now all of my big guns have taken their bye. So I'm looking forward to smooth sailing. Drake May has been an absolute godsend to me in this league. He's been doing his job as my starting quarterback. So I'm very, very happy with where I stand in the Chumps at 6-2. Where are you there, Boy Green?
I'm in the playoffs, which, by the way, also have the 2nd most points in this entire league. So I'm feeling pretty good about the.
Look at that. You have more points than I do. What are you doing down there?
I sure do. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing down there, but I'll tell you this. I feel very good about my team. So that's good to see them down there. And also, I got to give respect to the number 1 team in our league, Savage Joe's. This is a guy, and I don't know if you remember this, Lerch, but he was one that's been talking trash, right? Our top 3 of our chumps gets into our champs. And he's been talking trash since he came into the league. I don't think he started in the Quad Cities. I think he began his football journey in our fantasy football leagues in the Triple C, but he's been talking trash. I can't wait to get up to the champs league. And I'm like, all right, buddy, quiet on down. He's just dominated in every league that he's been in of ours so far. And he once again sits on top. Now, folks, you don't get into the league by having a nice regular season. You got to win the whole shish kebab or be in the top 3 in the fantasy playoffs. But I want to tip the cap, bend the knee, that Savage Joe's, a.k.a. Austin, has done a wonderful job. So, hey, big ups to him up there in that league as well.
You better have a little chat with your dad right now, sitting in the bottom 3. He could find himself in the Triple C next season.
Hey,
get it going. 2-6, not getting it done.
He's not the only one. Unfortunately, my fiance is all the way at the bottom there at 1-7. So she is a Little Moon and the Polly boy. I feel very bad, but she can carve herself out. There's plenty of time left. But right now, some choppy waters right now for my fiance and my dad, for that matter.
She's got me this week, by the way, too. So
oh, good. So you'll take it easy on her. Thanks, Lerch. What a guy.
I do my best, but everybody's back this week, man. I am ready to roll. All right, let's go Triple C now. Take a look at the standings in the Triple C. And that team that was undefeated, they were the only undefeated team left in our 4 leagues, Boy Green. Love Thy Neighbors took the L, baby.
Great.
No longer loving Thy Neighbors. Now I'm just a game back in second place, breathing down Love Thy Neighbors' neck. I checked yesterday, Boy Green. I haven't played Love Thy Neighbors yet. I will play him in week 11. I have put that on my calendar. I am ready to roll for week 11. I want to take down Love Thy Neighbors and take over first place in that league if I can keep winning up until week 11. So we'll see how that plays.
Well, big ups to you, Lerch, that you were in the top 2/top 3 of all these major leagues that you're participating in. So you're at the upper echelon. And for people who don't know, in all these leagues, we have random draft order from the sense that we randomize it ourselves, literally. So that means different roster construction. It's not just like Lerch had a good sense on the same players and then took them in every league. Like, every roster is different. So he deserves major ups, and he clearly has, it's second. I guess we got to give a shout out to Daniel Hahn. He has the most points in this league with over 1142, and he's 4-4, mediocre. 4-4. So that's tough, man. That's tough. So putting from the rough, there's some close matchups lost, and the fantasy football gods are bouncing that oblong-shaped football in a different direction. But hey, man, besides that, you have the most points in the league besides Daniel Hahn. So you're doing a great job all the way there at the top. And this one, again, also mediocre. I'm 4-4 right now, but hey, there's still plenty of time to work our way out of this thing. And looking forward to it. But again, Love Thy Neighbors. What an impressive start to the season. A lot of love there for sure.
And didn't a number 1 Austrian Jets fan there in 9th place there, didn't he take over someone's team? And
he did.
Team out of the bottom 3 and working his way up. So keep going. If you could get to 6th Austrian, all of a sudden now you're in the playoffs. You can win this thing. It's just a matter of 3 wins, and you could win the whole league. So, when you're sitting in that thing, number 1, you want to get out of the bottom 3, and then number 2, you want to try and get yourself into that 6th spot or better so you can be in the playoffs, because you just never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. I feel like, especially in the Champs League, Boy Green, this year, that like, I'm knocking on wood as I say this, but my team has just been almost too incredibly healthy. I have had almost no blows of major players to health, and there have been so many injuries, as you know, in the NFL. I feel like my day is coming, and I don't want it coming in week 11, week 12, or
of course not,
say 14, 15, or 16 when you're in the playoffs. That's not when you want to not have your horses. You want your horses at the end of the season. It's nice to have a good regular season, but you want to have them when it matters, when you're trying to win the chip. And I just got this bad feeling. My team's just been way too healthy. Something's going to give, and some key guy's going to get hurt. It's going to change everything for me. So I hope that doesn't happen, but knock on wood, man, I'm just like, oh boy, I hope my day isn't coming, late in the season when you want it worst and everyone else is getting their guys back from injuries.
Yes.
Yeah, that plays.
Hey, I appreciate you giving a shout out to number 1 Austrian Jets fan. And yes, he took over. Basically, it was like a winless team, and he's completely turned it around. So, folks, that's why I say, if you guys are listening right now, you're like, man, this sounds so fun. There's all these rivalries and matchups and all this fun jazz happening in the fantasy football leagues. I want to be a part of that. Just be on the lookout. I'm going to have to go back through the leagues, but I see 1, 2. There's at least 2 people in this league that just joined it this year because an emergency happened where someone dropped out. And then when we see Quad Cities, it happened a few times in there too. So again, you just never know. We have 48 people involved in all of our fantasy football leagues, and at any time someone could drop out. It could be a personal situation. It could just be a lack of activity. So if you guys are interested, make sure you guys reach out to me. I'll throw it up here on the screen real quick to be on the list. Here it is. Here is my email and my social media handles. If you guys want to be on the list for our fantasy football leagues at any point, sometimes it'll be during the off season. You just take over a nameless, faceless team, and it's just yours. Sometimes it happens mid-season. You just never know. So make sure you guys take full advantage of that as well. Reach out to me on social media if you want to be a part of one of our fantasy football leagues.
And before we go to Quad Cities, Boy Green, remind people, if you aren't subscribed to our channel, subscribe right now, and you can win yourself this Cleveland High-Bore XL driver, still in the wrapper. It was donated by our friends at Play It Again Sports right here in Syracuse, the Syracuse branch of Play It Again. Perhaps you have a Play It Again in your town, but we really do ask you to support support the folks at Play It Again who give away sell gently used sporting goods. It's fantastic. Also, you can bring in your gently used sporting goods and get some cash money for it. I brought in some golf clubs earlier this year, got nearly $150 for some golf clubs that were just collecting dust in my basement, man. That was some nice traveling money to have. So consider doing that too, rather than let stuff sit around. Let somebody else use your old stuff and get some cash for it. Never a bad thing to do. So again, right there, youtube.com/MC Show Digital. That's where you want to click that subscribe button and become part of our happy family. Once we get to 500 subscribers, and we're closing in slowly but surely, we will give away that golf club. I want to try and give it away before Christmas. So let's try and get an army of people jumping in and clicking that subscribe so that we can give away that golf club. Once we do that, other prizes coming down the pike, Boy Green. So we'll continue to incentivize folks for becoming part of our little community. All right, let's jump on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, folks. So if you're one of our first 500 subscribers to that YouTube channel down below, we're streaming live in a lot of different places. So we've got a couple hundred people in the room. Appreciate you guys wherever you're watching us. But go to that YouTube link at the handle, youtube.com/MC Show Digital. Subscribe to that right now. It is free to subscribe. It costs you nothing. You get to enjoy all our content and have a chance to win free stuff. I mean, it's the greatest deal of all time. So again, subscribe at that YouTube channel, youtube.com/MC Show Digital, to have a chance at $400+ golf club, either for yourself or holidays coming up. And yes, like Lerch, I'd love to have us at 500 subscribers by Christmas or even earlier would be awesome. So guys, make sure you guys do that. And Lerch, once we reach 500 subscribers, all kinds of cool things are happening. Opening up the phone lines, maybe becoming members of our channel. There's a lot of cool stuff on the horizon here, Lerch.
Yeah, there really is. I'm looking forward to it in a big, big way. Hey, Mother effing Shough getting in here on this, Boy Green, saying awesome theme song. In case you missed our opening, our show open, which we debuted today with our theme song attached, we will play it on the way out of our show today. So if you missed it at the start of the show, we'll play it one more time since it is opening day of our theme song. Then you'll see it in front of all of our videos and all of our live shows every single day. But it did debut today at the beginning of the show. So if you missed it, no big deal. We will play it again at the end of the show. All right, let's jump on over to the Quad Cities League, Boy Green. That's the one I know nothing about. And there was some trash talk there, I say, going on about the Quad Cities. And I was trying to react to it. And I was like, well, I don't know what's going on down there because I'm not in that league. I see there you are in fourth place. Dr. Fields good, keeping the same name for all your teams. That makes it easy for us to follow here on the big board. But tell us what's going on down there in the Quad Cities, because these people are trying to get out of the basement, baby, bust their way out through the ceiling and into that triple C, working their way up towards the champs.
This is very unique in the Quad Cities League. Look at that. 4 teams are 6-2 or better. How many other leagues do we have that kind of elite play at the top? And again, I'm glad to be a part of that group, even if my point total is nowhere near some of these people in front of me. We've got Woody up there's 100+ points above me. 100+ points above him is Sweet Teeter, which is Matt from Auburn. So Matt from Auburn,
there's Matt. Look at
says
him.
He wants to fight his way out. Hey, Lerch, I don't think, and you could confirm this, I don't think we've ever had someone climb up from Quad Cities all the way to the chance, especially someone that started in the chance, but just in any scenario. So Matt, you can make some history by coming back. And again, Big T, who just beat me, unfortunately, that was my chance to really surge into first place. But in our matchup, that was our matchup of the week. You talk about that on Yahoo. It was between me and Big T, and Big T just edged me out. It was back and forth at the end. So that one, unfortunately, painful. But nonetheless, we have 4 teams that are 6-2 or better, which is terrific. And a big shout out. I see Badshaw there.
Yeah, right on the cusp of the playoffs. You got to get to the other side of that 6, baby.
Yeah, there you go. So Badshaw, good luck. And I did play Badshaw recently too. And same thing for Badshaw there is that, I barely edged out him in a recent one of our matchups. So there's been a little bit of everything, but it's been a lot of fun. And, the Quad Cities, again, we'll see if Manchild dips in here. We've had a lot of changes in this league of teams dropping in and out. So there's a lot of volatility down here a little bit sometimes. So again, guys, make sure you guys reach out to me so you guys are ready to go. But it's fun. I love being in that league. And also just to make sure it's clear to everyone in the universe, because I know sometimes people can forget things. And I'm all here for you guys to make sure that you don't forget anything. But I am the reigning champion. You pay attention on Yahoo, whoever the reigning champ is has like a gold-plated name around them throughout the entire season to show that they are, the champ and they're the reigning defending and all that stuff. So that's pretty amazing. And thank you to Yahoo for making that update so you can,
You want to crown them? Then crown their
Really? So you get like a little glow.
Yeah,
around
let me
your
see
name
if
or
I can
something?
find a better
Yeah.
image to
So
show
get
you
a,
guys
you
what
get a
it
glow
looks like.
around your name if you're the defending champ in a league, and that league has been there for was there last year, and it's the same.
Correct. So if
it's
you're
the
the
same league.
exactly right. So if you're the champ
That's kind
and
of
you
cool.
didn't move up to another league, I suppose. So yeah, if you're the reigning champ, you stay in your league. You get a nice gold plate around your name, which is very nice.
And I think Yahoo, in all honesty, I mean, I thought this crazy gimmick of the featured match of the week, I was like, what is this nonsense, And now that I've been kind of following it, I'm like, ooh, I'm the featured match. And then, like, they have been great battles. I'm like, wow, Yahoo has done a great job picking the featured battles each and every week in our leagues. And so if you do play in a Yahoo league, even if you're not in ours, you should be seeing that feature where they kind of circle out one of the game and it has a little tab on it that says featured game. And that is the featured game of your league. I guess they think it's going to be close, or maybe it's for a vital position in the standings or something along those lines. But that's pretty cool. Another cool addition that Yahoo has added to make it just that much more interactive. So very, very cool stuff from the folks at Yahoo. Did you find something that you could show us, BG?
Yeah. It's on the phone, so I don't know if I'll be.
Oh,
well,
okay.
actually, let me just do
Let's
it
hold
this
it up.
way. Yeah. I can just hold it up. So here we go. Here it is. Oh yeah, here it is. So yeah, this looks nice. Okay, so look, we'll see how this. Oh yeah, let me go full screen here so you guys can get a better look at it. So okay, so you see this. This is a very. I don't know how close I could get here. Let me see. So you see that gold? That gold. Like plated thing. I know it's sort of blurry on the team, but it does come up there, and I'm trying to see if there's an even better way to see it. But you can also see it on this one.
Got a little halo around you there.
Yeah, you can see it. It's
look at
gold
that
plated halo, which is very nice.
The standings there. Ooh.
Yeah, and when you're in matchups, it pops up too, so you can see it right by the name. Which
it's a badge.
Nice.
It's like a little badge of honor.
It is, and people are like, now it's also a target, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Here's the defending champ.
Defending champ. Want to knock this bastard off?
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. All right, Lerch.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll just see. I'll just tell you this. So pay attention for anyone in the Champs League. I have just been given a blockbuster trade offer that would completely shake up my roster, and it's out of the blue.
You put out a trade?
No, someone sent me a trade, and it's a blockbuster, and it would shake up the entire league. This trade that's in my hands right here.
Wow.
Interesting.
And are you yesing it or knowing it? You counter every single trade that's ever offered to you. So I will be shocked if you don't counter this trade, whatever it is. I don't even know who's coming for, but you counter. You never accept the first offer. I have given, like, all right, come on, man. I'm giving you two good guys. Like, just give me this one. And you're like, what else you got? I'm like, I should have just lowballed them to start, because it always starts this way and they never can get to reasonable places. Now I've given you my best offer, and now you're going to ask me for an even better offer. So now I'm going to walk away from the table. So what's the deal on this? Go ahead.
So first off, I'll say there have been two trades this year in all of our leagues that I have accepted without making a counter. Now, normally that's very rare, but I'll give you the two. One was in the Champs League. So I'm about to go to bed at night. And I'm about to go on my my box drop beautiful pillow that I got from Paul, and I'm about to lay my head, and I hear just a little. Normally, I put my phone in do not disturb mode, so I don't get anything. But before I got a chance, I heard a ding, and I'm like, "What?" I was offered a trade, and I'm like, "Let me just see what this is."
What the heck?
And I look at it. It's from Austin, who's in our Champs League, and he offered Dak Prescott. He had Dak Prescott for Rashad Bateman on my team, and I'm like. And Justin Fields has been playing awesome to this point. So I'm like, I don't really need it, but I'm like,
he's a good player. And what the heck is Bateman doing?
I like, and he's been hot and cold.
That's
and
a real think tanker there, Boy Green. Boy,
and I'm like, all right, approve and accept. And then Dak Prescott became the MVP of the league. So he looks awesome. So that trade I did. And then this trade. And this trade just happened. Let me pull it up. We'll probably talk about it with Joe, perhaps, in one of the other leagues. Yeah. So I just received a blockbuster deal. I think it's still hanging in the balance here. Let me see. I think it's this league. Let me make sure I pull it up here. And you could judge it right now, Lerch, and you tell me. Oh, here it is. Yeah, this is the trade that I received. This is in the Boy Green League.
Okay, it's one of the Green leagues. That's okay.
Yeah, but this was a trade I received, and I just sat about it, thought about it, Googled to make sure one of these players didn't die in a plane crash or something. Like, because I said I just want to make sure. And so let's see. I'll put the screenshot up of this trade. And this one I thought about like 5 minutes probably. I just sat on it, went, I'm just going to pull the trigger and do this thing. And here it is.
But that is not an easy thing to get. You're getting ripped off when he just hits accept, because he orders everything.
So I was sent Kyron Williams and Christian Watson in exchange for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jordan Addison. And I just sat on it. I've got actually pretty good running backs on my squad. I got Christian McCaffrey, I got Rico Dowdle. So I feel pretty good about what
but now you got Kyron Williams on top of those guys. That's not bad.
Wow.
Oof.
And I went, because here's
I think you win that trade. I mean, look, Watson, who knows? He might be
a dart throw. I have no
really
idea.
is Kyron Williams for those two guys.
That's 100%. Well, that's sort of how I see it. I think Kyron is the best player involved in the entire deal.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
I think Marvin is a very good receiver.
He is,
and I think Jordan is an average receiver.
Yeah.
So,
and the quarterback
Christian is a dart
so
throw.
muddy. Right.
So I think ultimately what this dirty cooch who comments in on our channel, I think what's really happening here is that he's getting two players with higher floors.
Definitely. Yep.
In terms of the tandem of the two versus the two he's giving me. Kyron's a superstar, obviously, but Christian's a total.
Yeah.
I don't know. They got a million receivers.
Probably
over
not
there.
even going to start him most weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's how I saw it. And I'm just like, man, getting the best player in the deal. And then we'll figure out the last layer. We have a flex spot, so like we can always figure it out. So yeah, these are the two. That one is still pending in our league. But those are the two that this year I got. I'm like, all right, I'll do it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would have done that too. Yeah.
But there's another one right now, Lerch. It's sitting in front of me. I could accept it right now. It's a blockbuster deal that would shake up our league. In our champs league.
Oh, that's not.
But I got to think about it. I can't.
Things. When I'm sitting in first, I just, man, I hate to hear these blockbusters going on underneath me because it usually changes rosters and, and then, then I'm an angry duck. Like, why didn't you make an offer to me, man? I would have given you more,
Yeah, that's the only reason I can't shed more details on this very private situation here, but tempting.
All right. Well, you'll decide.
So if you see an alert later, that's why.
I'll certainly go look if I see an alert later. All right. So listen, for those that missed the beginning of our show, we did debut our theme song along with our theme video, our show open, as we call it. So we'll come back and say goodbye. But let me, I just thought for anybody that came in late and wanted to see it, it debuted today. So we'll play it one more time for you right now, and then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye. So one more time, the debut of the Manchild Show with Boy Green open. Enjoy.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause when it comes to sport, it's always coming to. If all green is always on the sea, it was gonna always bring to life. So get ready.
All right, there it is. Little high five there, Boy Green. Yeah, high five. Yeah, let's time that. 1, 2, 3. Mine is going off screen. I got to stop right there. My hand is so much larger than yours. What's happening there? You have a tiny hand. Tiny hands. You're muted, Boy Green. You're muted. Tiny hands. You got.
Yeah, and also,
hands.
Lerch, you're slapping the wrong side of the wall. I'm over here.
Oh, what do you mean? If I go this way?
Yeah, you high five this, so we're high fiving each other. You see on camera?
Yeah, it's this way.
No, it's not. It's not that way. You're on the left side of me. You're high fiving the wall over there. We're left and right of each other. I'm looking at the screen. You're on my left. I'm on your right. So I'm high fiving you right here.
Right. So I should be high fiving you here, like I'm doing. What do you mean?
No, you're high five. You need to high five the other side, Lerch.
If I do that, I'm facing my hand's not hitting yours.
Yes, it is. Both of our hands are hitting each other. Look, I'll show you a screenshot here, Lerch.
Yeah.
Hold up.
We're not looking at the same screenshot. What's going on? Why is our screenshots backwards? Do you see me, Oppo, than I see myself? I think you do.
I see you on the left. So watch this. Hold up your hand to my to the other side.
Okay, to the other side.
Watch this, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Just hold it up over here.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you a screenshot of our screen live right now, and I will show you that, see, this is the side that you should be high-fiving. See, Look at this on your screen. This is going to be very Inception when I throw this up on the screen. Look, you're on my left side.
You see me. Okay, you know what, BG? Here's the thing. You'll have to tell me how to fix this. We'll just do this right on the air. I know we shouldn't do stuff like this on the air, but we will. I've been wondering why the heck my sign and my Manning jersey and my Play Like a Champion Today sign is backwards. I see it all backwards. All right. When my camera is showing me myself backwards. Boy, I wish I could screenshot me for you, and you're going to see the exact.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how to do it. So
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know how to screenshot on this computer. I don't know how to screenshot it and then grab it.
and you got a Mac, so it could be
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was
Machine.
all right. We'll have to fix this off air.
Okay,
That's
all right.
that's absolutely bizarre. I'll have to get in with you on a FaceTime or something.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out
Look
later.
what I'm seeing. It's oppo.
Yeah.
Everything's opposite.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that. It's like my lens needs to be flipped around or something.
Oh, it must be. Yeah,
Ridiculous.
there you go.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's been a great show. I want to thank Dalton Wasserman again for joining us. Of course, all of you for tuning in. We do appreciate you. Again, hit the like button if you've liked what you've been listening to. And certainly if you're not a subscriber, jump in and hit that subscribe because you can win yourself a $400 golf club. And we're going to give that away as soon as we reach 500 subscribers, which is our next plateau. Remember, we've only been doing this less than 4 months. So we're really, really proud of the subscribers that we've already built. And our numbers may be at this point a bit meager, but we are going to build this thing into a rocket ship. And we're just, kind of on the ground floor and haven't even jettisoned off the first stage. But we're here every day for you with different content. Boy Green, before we go, let's preview the week. I know we got Jake Asman coming later today. We're going to talk about the Jets' first win of the season. Let's talk with Jake about that. What else do we have the rest of this week?
Also, I want to let you know, guys, if you guys missed the intro, it's a new layout on our page. So after this live show is over, if you go to our homepage, it's going to be the first new video you see. Our open, the brand new open, is posted on our new YouTube homepage. Which again, if you go there right now, you're going to see this live show. So once this live show is over, go to our homepage, and that is our new trailer for the entire channel. So guys, make sure you check it out. And hey, you're going to have to watch it a few times to see if you can see that little Easter egg that Lerch planted there somewhere in that 30-plus second intro. See if you can find it. If you can, screenshot it, tweet at us, let us know, and I'll be like, oh, you got it. Or, oh, not quite. Didn't get it there. So let you know on the Easter eggs that are coming. But yes, later, today's a Wednesday alert. So later tonight, of course, Survivor. We're back on. It's me, you, and Brett LaBelle.
All right, Brett's
later
back
tonight. Yep. So he's back from Dublin. He'll have to report why he went to Dublin. I don't think I ever got the backstory.
You told us, yeah.
But shout out to Jake O'Kane. He was terrific, and we got a lot of interactions on our Instagram and social media. They loved having Jake on the show. We had a few new subscribers, so thank you for Jake coming on. But Brett's going to be awesome, so we'll have Brett later today. You mentioned Jake Asman already. You guys can find that interview. Also, I just want to give a plug because we didn't talk about it because it happened in the middle of our multiverses. Jones Angel, the play-by-play voice of North Carolina. We post that on our social media today. That is on our YouTube channel. He went in on Bill Belichick. It was fascinating to hear Bill Belichick and the college atmosphere and what it's been like. If you guys want to get a taste of it, Jones does stuff with Bill Belichick multiple times a week. So he's really gotten to know him, and he sort of gave us some behind the scenes that, to me, that was really interesting. Cool. One of the most interesting stories of college football, despite their 2-5 record. So I highly recommend it. Even if you're not a Syracuse fan, I think just the Bill Belichick stuff in general is uniquely interesting to everybody, regardless of your sports interest. So I totally check that out if I were you. We have Anthony Prohaska coming up on Thursday for some Bills content, and then our fun pack Football Friday, Lerch, which is a Halloween episode for us. We'll have our NFL picks against the spread. We have Joe Bartle, our fantasy football guru of RotoWire.com, and then Syracuse, North Carolina. Speaking of that game, that's on Friday night on Halloween in the Dome here in Syracuse. So Bill Belichick, no Halloween costume. He is actually part of the North Carolina Tar Heels football program. So that is a normal outfit for old Bill Belichick.
Now, Boy Green, I know you do parties, and will you be decked out actually on Halloween Day?
I will be decked on Halloween Day and for all of our shows, my Boy Green Daily Show, our shows, everything throughout the day.
I guess I'm going to have to come up with something. I don't want to be
That'd be nice. That would be weird, right? I'm dressed up to the nines and you're just in a normal.
So we'll costume up for Halloween. I'll have to see what I can dig up out of the annals of the basement all right. I'll figure something out.
Okay. Nice.
Halloween costumes on Friday. We'll do it. It is Halloween. Get in the spirit. All right, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We do appreciate it. Again, Jake Asman coming later this afternoon. We've got live Survivor tonight and then live again on Friday with Joe Bartle and followed by our NFL picks. So a lot coming this week. Enjoy it all. We'll see you next time. Take care.